Okay, I hope that everybody can see my screen and also you can hear me clearly. So from the start, just for the session guidelines. So the session guidelines will be following in all of our training sessions. So basically, you all will be on mute. So you will not be able to unmute because it's a webinar session. So anytime if you have any question, please type down that question in the question window, or you can also raise your hand. So once you raise your hand, I will be unmute you, and then you can ask your question. So basically, we'll be having a question and answer session at the last of the webinar for 15 minutes. But in between, also feel free to put down your questions or to raise your hands. We'll love to answer your questions. And if once you are unmuted, and after you have asked your question, please again put yourself on mute. And you can ask all type of the questions related to this training session. Other than the question related to course fee, schedules, all related to all these questions, just drop me an email and we'll respond accordingly. So basically the agenda of today's session is we'll be going in details that what all this training schedule will be covering, what all the different content will be covering, what are the topics will be included, and another agenda is to answer you all of the questions which you have. So all set of questions which you have related to what topics will be covered, how the course will be conducted, how the materials will be shared, all of the questions related to training will be answered today. So I'm just starting with my introduction. We will be skipping the participant introduction today that we generally do in the third or fourth session. Once the list of the participants is got fixed and everybody's got enrolled. So from my brief introduction, I have around 11 years of experience in SAP, and I have worked in almost all of the supply chain modules, including PP, QM, MM, SD. So I started my career with consulting SAP PP and QM. Then I worked on the different modules called SD, transportations, WM, and MM. And I have around 3 years of experience in SAP HANA. I have done multiple projects, including POC, proof of concept projects, migration or conversion projects. And I have done both kind of projects using SAP HANA as a sidecar and S4 HANA projects. So during this training sessions, I will be sharing my experience from the different projects, that how the practically things happen, what are the things we require to do in a project when we go, because this training will be covering the both part. We have designed it like that it will help you to give a certification, covering the certification curriculum, and will be also covering the business cases from the live projects which you will encounter when you are working on any project. From my another experience, I am a PMP certified and I'm also a SAP certified. S4HANA certification is not launched yet. It will be launching in Q2 and Q3. We'll be going in detail of the certifications available in the next slides. I have presented a SAP HANA solution in the multiple forums, and I have also done a multiple S4 HANA trainings and the accomplishment to the different SAP portals which are available. And I've also done the multiple trainings, and I got awarded for my mentoring skills, for my training skills. I have done specialized online training, trainer courses where from LinkedIn or from the different universities from the University of Georgia. So we have designed this training session specially for the e-trainings by taking inputs from the various trainings, by taking inputs from the various trainers, and raising a questionnaires to the different participants. So taking care of all of the things, we have designed the training so that you can get a best experience out of this e-training. So answering the first question first. So you all might be having this question that why should I take this course? Why should I learn SAP S/4HANA? What is the need? Why should I go for a S/4HANA course, or why the businesses go for S/4HANA? So why the businesses should go for S/4HANA we'll be covering in the next slide. But to answer your question that why there is a need that you need to take a course, because we have earlier migration. If you are working on SAP have moved from R3 to ECC, and ECC, in ECC also they have multiple patches and upgrades. But when we talk about S/4HANA, we said that there will be a separate certification we need to do. There will be a separate training you need to go through. So why this training is required? So to answer this, the one of the biggest thing is that HANA is the biggest shift in ERP technology so far. So when we say the biggest shift in ERP technology, because here not only the software part is changing, but also our front end is changing, and the technical part, the database part is also changing. So everything is changing here in S/4HANA. Our software is changing. We have a simplification. Our data model is changing. User experience is changing by introducing new tools, new BI tools like Lumira, Crystal Reportings. We have Fiori now. HANA Studio come into the picture. So there are a lot of new tools has been introduced. And when we talk about the change in the technology, when the new database has been introduced, with the new database, new technology, it has been shifted to new data model, and then which means all the code has been rewritten. And on top of that, we have a different tools which we need to learn. We have a HANA Studio. We have Fiori. We have a different BI tools which we need to learn. Now will be new interface will be NWBC also will be used a lot, NetWeaver Business Client. So to learn all of these things, we need to go through a specialized trainings. We will be covering all of this part. And another thing is that now because the technology shift has happened, we have moved to S/4HANA, which means that all of the new implementations will be happening on S/4HANA. So the new clients who is coming, SAP is strongly recommending them to go with the SAP S/4HANA rather than going with ECC. And then because there's a lot of clients which already has a ECC or SAP solutions, so they will be also migrating to SAP. So there will be a huge demand coming for the migration project, for the conversion project, or for the landscape transformation project. So earlier there was a news that SAP will stop the ECC support by 2020, but now they have shifted to 2025. So by 2025, SAP is planning to stop the support for ECC. And the reason behind that is SAP is calculating for the top Fortune 500 companies, which have a big landscape. So all of the company will not shift at a once from SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA. They will take time. So SAP is thinking that each company will be having a 10 to 15% of their migration from the ECC to S/4HANA in 1 year. So if somebody is starting from 2017, all of the big companies, Fortune 500 companies, if they start in 2017, the calculation is by 2022, they should be able to migrate completely all of their landscape to S/4HANA. So that's why they have come up with the year that by 2025, they will be stopping the support for SAP ECC. Now, which means that from 2017 to 2022, when all of this migration, all of this conversions, all of this landscape transformation will be happening, there will be a huge demand in the market for the consultants who know HANA and who also know SAP S/4HANA, who know that what are those all the simplifications are there, who knows that how to operate Fiori, how to configure a Fiori, and how to and how to play with HANA Studio and all the other BI tools. So there's a huge demand in the market will come in that era. Now, another reason is there's a new interface to change the user experience, which we have discussed. So what are the new interfaces coming, which a functional consultant or any consultant who is working with these projects need to learn? So the new interfaces is coming as a Fiori. There's a misinterpretation for Fiori. People understand that only an end user need to use it, but there's a lot of things, the configuration related things and setting up a Fiori, which functional consultant need to do. So that will be covering. HANA Studio is totally a new thing, especially for all of the consultants, whether it's the technical consultants or the functional consultants. So earlier when we are working with another ECC systems, another SAP system, a functional consultant or a developer also, nobody was bothered about what database has been used, whether it's SQL database, IBM database, or any another database. Nobody was bothered about. But now with the HANA Studio, with the HANA comes with a bigger picture of a database, which not only is a database, but it also have a different application layers. It has a different libraries, which helps a functional consultants and the developers both to do a lot of things directly on HANA databases. So whether functional consultant or technical consultants, they both need to know the HANA Studio because they both will be working on HANA Studio. And now by meaning that functional consultant will also be having a direct access to database. So there's a lot of functionalities are there related to data modeling, which a functional consultant can easily do and generate a quick reports from out of HANA Studio. So that part also will be covering. Other than Fiori, when we talk about the BI tools, there are a lot of new BI tools coming into the market called Lumira. We have then Crystal Report, Business Object Dashboards, and the other for migration, also we have a new interfaces. We have a SLT, we have a BODS. So we talk about the simplification that SAP HANA or SAP S4 HANA is all about simplification. But when we take a dive into it, especially for the consultants, it makes things complicated because there are a lot of new terminologies is coming, a lot of new tools are coming, new interfaces are coming, which you need to understand and which you need to learn. Now, the another thing, the major thing, or we call it as a key motivation factor for SAP S/4HANA is shift of the analytical capabilities. So that is the major motive or motivation behind running S/4HANA projects. So all of the businesses now looking for tools. Now, from the last, let's say, 10 or 20 years, they are working on SAP. Their processes got stabilized. Although there are the options available to improve the processes, but there's a one key gap all of the businesses are facing is the analytical capabilities. They have a data, but that data right now is not helping them to make decisions to improve their business and to run their business efficiencies. So there's a lot of gap available in the data analytics and the data science area, which is basically covered by SAP S/4HANA by providing a bit different BI tools and different analytical tools. So we need to also learn that how the analysis or how the analytics will change once we move to HANA or S/4HANA. So I'm using this terminology again and again, HANA or S/4HANA. So if you are not understand right now, don't worry, we'll be going in detail. When we talk about HANA, what do we mean? When we talk about S/4HANA, what do we mean? Or when we talk about simple finance, simple logistics, business suite on HANA, what do we mean? So basically these all are the different products by SAP. So the functional consultant role hat will be changed. You have already, if you're working in the area, you having experience, you have felt that from early 2000 there was a huge demand for the consultants, basically who knows the SD, who know the MM, okay, who know the individual modules. From last 5 to 7 years, you have seen that there is in market, there's a more demand for the consultants who are the techno-functional consultants or who can have a knowledge on the multiple modules, because slowly processes are getting stable, right? So the need and demand for the consultants is also getting changes, which means that the consultants who are already experienced with the different modules, now they need to wear a new hat. So that new hat is coming with with including the new applications related to business analysis, business analytics. Now the consultants are also supposed to do a little bit part of which we call uh, as a data science or data analysis part. So to do that data science or data analysis, there are the multiple tools available which we need to learn. And the final thing is that you know that in IT landscape, the technologies are changing. Every second or third years, you will see that technologies are getting changed quickly. S/4HANA is just the start of a new innovation. So S/4HANA in the cloud will be having a new innovation release every quarter, and on premises that there will be new innovation release every year. So this is just the start of the innovation. Every quarter, every year, the things will change, the technologies will change. To survive in that kind of landscape, the only key thing is to learn the new things, to update your profiles with the new batches, with the new skills, new technologies, so that you are always up to date and available for the market demand. So if you're having a question, still having a question why we need a special training for S/4HANA, I hope that it will be cleared. But if it is not cleared, you can put your questions on your question window. So these are some market trends which we have got from doing some analysis on internet, which shows the total job postings. When we talk about the total job posting, it's job posting about everything, about operations, all ITs, everything available in IT. So we say that if there are around 10,000 jobs posted on the internet, 498 jobs require some skill relevant to S/4HANA. Out of 10,000 jobs, if 498 jobs require skills related to S/4HANA. So these are not SAP jobs. These we are calculating all of the jobs in the market. On the other side, when we check about the job seekers updates in their profiles and how many people is having a S/4HANA as a skill in their profile or in their resumes, we found that out of 10,000 profiles on the system, we have only available 1.3 people who has that SAP S/4HANA skill. So you can see there is a huge market shift between demand, what the demand is, and what the availability is. So when this demand versus availability occurs, which means that the rates of those technologies, jobs available on those technologies, increment availables for the technologies goes higher. So in the IT trend from last 6 months, the trends are not good. You have here the news from the different companies of the layoffs, whether it's an Indian company or the Western companies. The overall IT landscape doesn't looks good from the job perspective. But when you look about the jobs related to HANA and S/4HANA, there is this ratio is keep on increasing. There are more and more demands in the market. So if somebody is there with the skill of S/4HANA or somebody is there with the skill of SAP HANA, it's very easy for him to look for a new job and with a very good increment and hikes compared to only having a knowledge on the traditional modules. Now, who are the target audience for this course? So basically, as I have explained, this course has been designed like that way that it can fulfill the requirement of both kind of the things. It can fulfill the requirement of your certification curriculum, and it will also allow us to work on the new SAP projects which have SAP HANA or S4 HANA. So all of the people who are having around more than 3 to 4 years of experience on SAP with any of the logistic modules, it's mandatory for them to go with this kind of training. This is mandatory for them. Okay. Any people who are having more than 3 to 4 years of experience. Why it is mandatory, especially when you have experience more than 5 years, you move towards a role of a lead or a project manager or a solution architect. So all of these roles basically need to have an overview idea and overview of picture that what this new technology about. So if you are a solution architect, if you are a project manager for projects related to SAP, this course is mandatory for you. Okay, this SAP HANA and S4 HANA related, because without knowing all of the tools, without knowing all of the capabilities of S/4HANA, you cannot design your architecture. You cannot provide your solutions for the clients. You cannot discuss the requirement with them. So you need to know that what SAP HANA offers, what capabilities it has, what the different delivery models it have, what are the implementation strategies we have, what kind of different scenarios we have, what will be the deliverables for them. So those all are important. So all of the solution architects, delivery leads are basically mandatory for this course. Functional consultants also, all of the functional consultants are having a knowledge of any of the single module can go with this course. And anybody who's handling the higher level of roles, it's a must training for them to know about all of the tools available for S/4HANA and to knowing the capabilities of it. Now, what is a prerequisite for this course? Prerequisite for this course is you should be having a knowledge of any of the SAP supply chain modules. Okay, that is a prerequisite. So either you know a little bit about one of the modules, or you know then have a basic knowledge of SAP. So basic knowledge of SAP is a prerequisite for this course. And SAP HANA knowledge and experience is not a prerequisite. If you don't know anything about SAP HANA, if you don't know anything about S4 HANA, no need to worry, we'll be training on SAP HANA. So our first part of training will be covering everything about related to HANA that you need to know. So that part we will be covering. So no need to worry about. So I will take a pause here and I will check the window if we have any questions here till now. You can also raise your hand. So we have a question from Ranganath that will you be covering real-time scenarios during the course? Yes, we'll be covering the real-time scenarios. So when we talk about when we especially talk about SAP HANA or S4 HANA, there's a multiple scenarios out there. So we'll be covering all of these real-time scenarios, all of this real-time project exposure, all of the real-time project problems we face in our training. So what different kind of scenarios we will be covering. So we have a different scenarios like HANA as a sidecar, HANA as a main car. Under HANA as a main car, we have a scenarios like migration or conversion. We will be having a greenfield projects. We'll be having a landscape migration. So for all of this project related to these projects, we'll be covering that in real time, what activities need to do, what activities a functional consultant need to do, or what activities a business consultant, business analyst, or a technical consultant need to do. So that real time scenarios we'll be covering. Any other question? You can also raise your hand if you have any question. or you can put it on the chat window. Okay, so if you don't have a question, I will proceed ahead. Now, there are different trainings available in the market. Uh, so there are the trainings available for SAP HANA, some trainings available for S4 HANA, some trainings available only for simple logistics. So how this training is different from all of the other trainings? So how we are different? So to explain that how we are different, so basically what we have done before starting this course or before developing a course content for this, we have taken care that based on our real project experience, we cover all of the things which is required to be known. Okay, so the unique thing is the content of this training. So we'll be discussing the content in detail, what are the things we are providing, which covers the technical part as an overview of all technical things, and all of the functional part. So if you will go with the another courses available in the market, you will see either HANA is told as only the technical. So basically HANA started in 2007. So people who are involved in 2007 is basically the technical guys of SAP HANA. Then they switched to a little bit of uh, functional area, but those training you will see it's more about BI or BW kind of trainings they have. Although the name has been given to as a S4 HANA or simple logistic, but only the training is related to BI tools, BW tools, or it's limited to data modeling. But this training covers the BI part, only the overview, which a business consultant, business analyst, or a functional consultant need to know, and we have a simplifications in detail. So another kind of training you will find in the market which only talk about simplification, which only talk about the blue screen in SAP. But that blue screen in SAP, or it only talk about the simplification list which is offered by SAP. So that is only coverage of 25% if you're going with that training. There are a lot we need to learn. So we also cover the Fury in detail and all of the BI tools in detail. So the content of this training is very unique. So other than the content, what other things are there which makes this training different from all of other trainings available is this training will not only be the lecture part. So we make this training interactive. So these will be interactive classes. So you'll have to have a lot of interaction. So we have studies all of the trends available in the market for the online courses, and we have also gone through that what other trainings are available. So you will find in the market the other trainings which are only webinars. So you will not be unmuted. So you need to learn this, go through the 1.5 hour of lecture. You need to post your questions, and then you will be getting reply of these questions through emails. We don't follow that model. Okay, so anytime you will be having a question, you can raise your hand, we'll unmute you, you can ask your question, you can ask your n number of questions. We welcome all of your questions, whether it's directly related to the content or not related. Although when we include all of these questions, the training session can be stretched, but that move the training into the discussion model. So our model of the training is the interactive discussion model. So the various studies we have made which shows that if a trainer is training and providing a lectures, the learning is only 30 to 40% for the audience. Okay, and if a trainer also asks questions to the audience, little bit questions or little bit exercises during the course has been asked, the understanding for the participant increased by more 20%. And then these trainees can get more knowledge if they ask question and answered in the same session with more to 10 to 20%. Okay, And another part can be covered if you don't have any question, but if you can listen what other participants are asking. If you can listen to them, you can again add more 20% of knowledge. So this whole model is called as an interactive discussion model. So here in this kind of training, we'll be having people involved from the different backgrounds, from the different backs. Some people will be having experience from the technical side, some will be the project management side, some will be having a 15 to 20 years experience in different modules. So what you can understand and what kind of questions you have is limited. So your scope can be limited if you only ask and understand your question. But if you also pay attention what other people are asking and what solution has been provided to them, what scenarios they are coming, you can gain more 20% of the knowledge from the training session. So we'll follow that model of interactive discussion model where you can ask questions. I will be asking a question. Another key part is we include quiz. So generally other trainings quiz is provided as a separate part at the end of the training session or even at the end of the training. So that remains sitting on a Word document which none of the participants follow. But we'll be having a quiz sessions. Some quiz will be involved during our training session, which I will be asking you. So you need to do a little bit of brainstorming. You need to be a little bit interactive in the session. So that is a unique model. Other than that, we have another model which is called as offline instructor-led training. So if you are not able to go through, if you're not able to follow the schedule, we share videos. So that you can find it another places also sharing of videos. But on top of the videos, we share as on the training happens in a live session, we share the same videos if you're not able to go to the live training. And then we have up to 4 sessions with trainer. So all of the people who are only going through the videos, they can schedule a 4 personal session with trainer, where basically it will be a one-to-one session. A trainer will be answering to your questions. Okay, that are on-demand sessions, which up to 4 sessions you can demand for, and we can, based on your time availability, we can handle those sessions. So once you have gone through this video, you have your set of questions ready. We can have those one-to-one sessions only for the offline part. But online part, whoever the participants are getting the online training, is not that required for them. And how we assure for the training? So basically, if you're going with this training and up to 6 sessions, you come back and write us a mail that this training session is not useful for you, or you're not happy with this training, we'll immediately refund you the 75% of the money without even asking any question. So up to 6 sessions, if you come back, you feel that the training is not useful, you're not happy with the content, you're not happy with the trainer, you're not happy with the trainer knowledge, we don't ask any question, just drop an email and we'll refund the 75% of the amount. Now the next part is that what actually we'll be covering in this training session. So I will cover this part a little in detail, so you please pay attention to it. This is an important thing. If you have any doubt related to what are the topics not covered, or if you have any topic in mind which you want to ask, whether that will be covered, whether this will be covered, so we can answer that now. So let me first explain what other things we'll be covering. So we first start our trainings with the introduction of SAP HANA. So when we say that introduction of SAP HANA, we start from the scratch. We start from the database. What is a database? Then we talk about the different kind of databases available. Then we talk about the in-memory database. Then we talk about how the row and column structure of in-memory database work, what the different capabilities an in-memory database has. Then we talk about why the indexes are not required. We discuss about detail about indexes. So once we cover about the database, in-memory database, how it's different, then we come to HANA database. So in HANA DB, we cover that what all the features are available, why it is called appliance, why it is not only a HANA database. We cover that. We cover all of the features. We cover history of HANA database, how SAP built this HANA database, what key components are attached to that. And we also go to the history of our normal databases. We go why a new database is required altogether. So we start from the scratch of the database, understanding a database model, going to in-memory databases, learning about that, and then coming to HANA database, learning in depth of that. So once that session is completed, so that would be around, it will take around a couple of sessions to go into the detail of all of the things. Then we move to SAP S/4HANA Foundation and overview. Basically, then we cover that what are the different models available. So we have different models like Simple Finance. Then we have a Business Suite on HANA. Now we have S/4HANA. So we have a sidecar. So we cover all of these different things available in S/4HANA. We cover that how S/4HANA has been made on top of HANA, that part, and all of the different foundation area, all of the different scenarios which we have. Then we discuss about the deployment of option, architecture of SAP HANA, and activate methodology. Here we discussed all of the different kind of scenarios which are available, which is conversion, landscape migration, or a greenfield project. What are the different scenarios we have as per activate methodology in project management? What are the different steps we need to take? What are the different activities we need to do? What will be the architecture of each of the different scenario? What will be the deliverables of the different scenarios we cover in that session? Then we also cover HANA Live. So in HANA Live, we cover how HANA Live can help as a HANA as a sidecar, or it can be also used in a main car. So that scenario we cover how to use HANA as a main car. What is HANA Live? How it can help? What are the functional consultant need to do to implement HANA Live? So we'll be covering that part. Then we move to the data provisioning. So we touch different data provisioning tools available. So one of the biggest useful tool is SLT. We covering BODS. We cover our migration cockpit. We will be covering and then direct upload like Excel files. So we'll be covering these all of the data provisioning tools that when the migration happen or for greenfield, how the data will be moving to S/4HANA. So we'll be going in detail of SLT and migration cockpit, and we'll just do a touch base for business object data services. So we'll just be touching and providing an overview of BODS. So once you know that all of the scenarios, once you know that what are the different, how the data can move, then we move to our next sessions, which are the data modeling sessions. In data modeling, this is again a new thing. We use HANA Studio to do the data modeling. So HANA Studio has a capability of doing data modeling. Okay, so the functional consultants can very easily do the data modeling, generate a different kind of views, and that views can be easily consumed with the different BI tools, which means that the analytics and analysis part and the reporting parts become a very easy by using the HANA data modeling. So we'll be covering that the part which a functional consultant need to know, how the simple data models can be quickly created in SAP HANA, and how you can do your ad hoc analysis by using HANA Studio and the embedded analytics which HANA Studio has. So we'll be covering that. We'll be covering how to create different kind of views like attribute views, analytical views, calculation views. We'll be covering that part. Then once that is covered, we'll be covering what about the BI tools. So once you have know that how you can create a data view, how you can create a views, then we'll be learning that how these views can be used in different advanced BI tools, which is Lumira, Business Object Dashboard, Crystal Reporting, or Fiori, or how HANA Live can help with that. So we'll be covering all of this. We'll not go into the detail of any of this, but we'll be covering so that you know that the key functionalities and feature, so that you can ask your business BI guys that what kind of reports you require. And many of the part of this you can also do by your own, because this is very easy to use tools. So if you do some hands-on practice, some simple kind of the things you can do in on Lumira. So that we'll cover in details. Other things, Fury we will cover in detail. Other things we will just doing a touching on other parts. HANA Live also will going in detail. So once you know the BI tools, we move ahead with the Fury and NWBC. So Fury and NWBC now come as a free license with S/4HANA. So basically SAP's strategy is to move for a user interface, to move from the all existing interface to move to Fiori. So they want to create a Fiori, a single user interface for all of the user, whether it's a solution manager, whether it is your SAP transaction doing, whether it's reporting. So all of this need to be done via Fiori, which is a web-based tool. So that is the future roadmap of SAP, and that's why a lot of development is going on Fiori. A lot of around 3,000 applications has already built on Fiori, and SAP is keep on releasing new applications on Fiori in each quarter. So Fiori will be basically the future. So SAP wants to stop the usage of GUI, although it's available. They don't say that they will stop, but strategy is to do all of the innovations by using Fiori. All of the new things will be coming on Fiori. NW is also NetWeaver Business Client, comes as a free license with S/4HANA, and people prefer it a lot because all of your transaction which you are doing in GUI can be done on this web-based application without any new development. So if you want to just use a web base of GUI, we can use NWBC, which has role-based screen can be created on NWBC, same as in Fiori. So we'll be covering this both type of we will be covering this both interfaces in detail. Then basically from here we move to the simplification. Now what are the simplifications available? So when we talk about simplification, simplification is nothing but a simplification in data models, new application, new procedures. So when SAP is moving to S/4HANA, they are changing some of the procedures, they are creating new reports, the analytics part is getting changed. So all of this we'll be covering in this session. First, we'll be covering about the enterprise management. What are the master related data changes are there? How our business partner logics are changing, what things we need to do for that, how in master data fields are getting removed, not required fields, how we need to change the length of material. So that is a new part. So we'll be covering all of these new parts in our next session, in our these sessions. Then we'll be going into the sales. Basically, our SD part will be covering details that what are the things got changing related to SD, related to analytics, or related to SD changes, whether it is the ATP or pricing relating change, or our change related to rebate or settlement processes we'll be discussing in detail in sales part. Then we'll go to the next module, sourcing and procurement. In sourcing and procurement, basically we'll be covering the MM part. What other things are changing in MM? And inventory management also will be covering here. How new analytics are coming for this part. And what are the changes like remover of source list. Some key changes are there. So materials will be having evaluated with the material laser. So that will be covering that key changes are there. Then we'll be covering the manufacturing part. Manufacturing part, basically the major changes in MRP, how the ATP changes will be impacted, how the MRP live is, new MRP live is coming, how the S-log level MRP is not available. So these all kind of things we'll be doing here. Then we'll be having a last session, basically in which we'll be guiding you that how to prepare for a certification exam, how to go for a certification, what are the information you required. We'll also cover some advanced topic, the future of SAP S/4HANA, what are the roadmap for 2018, 19, and 20, all of these upcoming years. What is the SAP roadmap to come with? What are the new changes? So all we'll be covering in this last session. So I will take a pause here and I will check if you have any kind of question till now, especially what training roadmap we have, what are the topics, contents we have, which we'll be discussing with you. So you can go ahead with your questions now. So we have one question, is data modeling similar to ABAP queries or SQVI transaction? That's a good question. So basically, data queries are not exactly similar. Okay, so maybe it looks as a similar, but there is a huge change in that for the data queries. Why the huge change is there, and what kind of the change we are having? So basically, when you write a data query, you write it on your application layer. So we'll be covering that part in detail, how the architecture is changing. Means you write that in ABAP, the transaction you have mentioned, right? So what it need to do, it need to link with the database. Now this database right now we are using is a traditional database, which need to pull out the data from here. All of the analysis is happening here on our application layer. Then it provides result to our GUI, right? So all of kind of analysis, all of your filter, calculation, aggregation is happening on your application layer. So database is providing all of the data. So here, when the traditional database provided data, there's a lot of lag in input and output processes. The process is very slow. And you need a big application layer with the big CPU usage to do all of this calculation here, which create an additional load on your ABAP. So which means you cannot write a complex queries there. Okay, so that is basically, it is called our SAP systems right now is called as a OLTP, online transaction processing. It is not good for analytical processing. Although the feature is there, but you cannot write your complex query there. It works very slow. So you cannot write your complex queries. You cannot write, it has a lot of calculation functions already built up on HANA. So that kind of calculation functions, the function library is additional thing which is available in HANA Studio, which you cannot use in this query transactions. And basically the model is more simplified, and everything will be happening on HANA databases. Your logic, which you will be doing in data modeling, will be your HANA database, which means that there will be no input and output lag. You are directly writing your code on in memory. Basically, when you create a data model system, create a SQL query on behind of that. So there is no input output lag. In-memory system is used. High performance is achieved. You are directly working on top of the HANA databases rather than working on an application layer. So that is the basic difference. So we'll be going into the detail of it in our upcoming sessions. Any another session, any another question from another participants? Will we have access to the advanced BI reporting tools that you mentioned to have go and try? Yes. Yes, you will be having the access to advanced BI tools. So basically, I will continue with my presentation for more 15 minutes. Then we will go to see that what all the access we are going to get. That will going in, we are going to see that what all the different tools will be having in our remote desktop for which the access will be providing. I will be showing you all of the things after 15 minutes. Okay, sure. Any another question? If you have any other question, you can type or you can raise your hand. I will unmute you. So I'm taking a pause for 1 minute to check if the participants have any question. Okay, I think we are good. Let's go ahead. So this is basically the course content which will be provided to you. So we'll be providing a guidance for the certification training materials, ebooks, certification. We have created special certification notes which we'll be providing to you. So let me share some things which we have. So we'll provide you this access to the HANA Google Drive. So this Google Drive will be having all of the materials which you require. So some of the participants would already be having access to this who have already enrolled for the course. So we have S4HANA materials. So these are the basically materials which will be used in the different HANA certifications. So you need not to go with all of these materials, but we'll let you know when you need to go through with these materials. So we have a HA100 basically which talk about the basics of HANA. So all of you will require to go for that. As for H01 talks about basics of S4HANA, basics of Fiori. That will also require for all of you to go through. Then we have a module specific. This is LG1 as a module specific talk about the changes, all about the changes in logistics module. The MA1 talks about the changes and the delta in manufacturing modules. Then we have a SD1 talks about changes in sales, and this talks about changes in our MM and procurement part. So based on the certifications you are going, so now recently in this month, last month, SAP has updated the certification information. SAP will be having an individual certification. So now you can go for S4HANA certification for manufacturing. you can go with the S/4HANA certification for MM or for SD. So there are the different certifications available now. Let's have a look on that. So this is basically the certification journey which you can do. So in this one, basically, this you can see that it's updated in May 2017. So these are the courses if you want to go for MN certification. These are the courses you need to go through. So you need to go through these 3 books, S4S01, LG1, PR1, and then you will be able to give the certification for S4HANA procurement. Okay, but this certification is going to launch in Q3. So SAP will be launching this certification in Q3. So it's good to think that you are going through this training now. So by the time you will be able to complete your training, in the next quarter you will have some practice, and the next quarter certification will be ready, and then you can go with the certification. The good thing about our training is that we also provide, because the certification will be in Q3, we also provide one refresher session specially for certifications. So you need to tell us 1 month before you have planned for your certification. So once you have planned the date for your certification, you can let us know. So we'll be creating one session to refresh all of the knowledge which you have gained through this course. So we'll be having a special session for refresher that is on demand without any additional charges. Then you can click it here in all journeys basically, and then you can click it here topics to filter it out, and you can go to SAP S/4HANA, and you can see that what all the different roadmaps for the certifications available. So there's a certification of manufacturing, procurement, and the sales. So different certifications are available now. So let me give you that link. So what we do that you need not to create any session notes, anything note down in our sessions. We'll be creating notes for you. So we use this tool SAP OneNote. So here you will be getting all of your sessions related notes, whatever we'll be discussing here. Then all of your T codes which you need to use, all of the links we provided here, and all of the tables and all of the materials which you require, we provide through this. So a real-time access will be given to you. The participants who have already enrolled for this course, I think they already have access to this. So during our session, we create a lot of notes. So let me show you an example for our other trainings which we are having. So you can see it here that you will be having a list of all T codes which we require to use. All of these links are very useful when you are working on a project. So none of the book cover this thing. So these links which we provide will be very helpful to you. Then we create notes. Then you will be having separate sessions which I will be explaining. So this is I explain through OneNote all of the sessions. And this OneNote access you will be having, you can refer to anytime. So as soon as I do any change on the OneNote, you will be notifying by email, and then you can use that OneNote to get your real-time access to our session notes. So let me start this quickly with the link which we have discussed. So this is for SAP certification. So these kind of links will be storing here. And you'll be having access to it. So anytime in future you want to go and check, No need to note down from the session anything. Just use this OneNote tool and go through it. Then we'll be providing some other things also. So you'll be having, we'll be providing you the assignments. Okay, so assignments will update as per our sessions. As we go with the session, we'll be updating assignments from here. Every 2 or 3 sessions will be having a one assignment which you need to do. We provide a lot of handouts which is on top of this materials. We have another documents which help you for your understanding and which help you for in your projects. We provide in handouts, and all of the videos you'll be able to get it from here in the session videos. So these all things we provide to you. So once you enroll for this course, we'll be providing you access of this dictionary. So session note, web links, handouts, assignments, hands-on experience we'll be sharing with you. So and then recording of sessions will be available. We'll be giving you a server access for 2 months. We'll be giving you assistant to prepare your resume, how to prepare for interview, and we'll also provide the placement guidance and by the support team. So this all content will be provided to you. Let me take a pause before I move to the next thing, which is our sharing with you that what kind of server access we are having. Let me ask if you have any kind of question. Feel free to ask questions. The more questions you ask, the more learning you have. Feel free to raise your hand. I will unmute you. So basically, if you don't ask questions, this is just introductory sessions, then I ask a lot of questions from you. So better you ask questions rather than I am asking questions from you. Yeah, Jayesh, go ahead. I have unmuted you.
How many sessions will be taking by you for coding all these things and the application documentation and what are the files about?
Okay, so your voice is little not clear, but if I get it correct from your, you want to know that how many sessions will be happening and what would be the timing and schedule for the sessions. So this is in the next slide. So we'll be having, this is a weekday batch. We'll be having 2 sessions on every weekday. So basically, that session will be a 2-hour session. So we start with a 2 days thing, and then we escalate our to having a sessions 3 days in a week, and then based on the requirement we also take additional sessions on weekends based on the availability of all of the participants. So this is a weekday batch. Right now our weekend batches are full. So this is a weekday batch which we started from today, and the next session will be having, so please note down the different time zones because people get confused with the different time zones. So Jayesh, as you are in the India time zone, so for you the session will be happening on Tuesday and Thursday. Okay, so for you our next session will be on Tuesday. We'll be sharing a link for our next session. GoToMeeting webinar link for the next session that will be happening on Tuesday 6 a.m. So every Tuesday and Thursday we'll be having a session if you go with the India time zone. If you go with the West time zones, we'll be having a session on Monday and Wednesday evenings. So our time would be remain same. So if we go with the Central time zone, it would be 7:30 p.m. EST time zone, it would be 8:30 p.m. Pacific time zone, it would be 5:30 p.m. So please make a note of your time zones. Okay, which time zone you are. Our next session will be on next Monday evening if you are in the Western time zone. If you're in the India or Asian time zone, it will be on Tuesday. So in total, we try to cover this in 1.5 months. the whole training, but it can take up to 2 months. The weekday session will not be longer than 2 hours. That is a maximum. We'll try to cover in 1.5 or 1 hour 45 minutes. Extra session which will be taken on weekend can go up to 2.5 hours to 3 hour sessions, which will be extra sessions on weekends. And in total, we'll be having around 16 to 18 sessions to cover all of the content which we have discussed, but at maximum it can go up to 20 sessions. So I hope everybody is clear with the training schedule, our course schedule. What are the next trainings we are having? We'll meet next on next Monday as per Western time zone evening, and as per Asia Pacific time zones, we'll be meeting next on Tuesday morning. Oh, sorry, I think my screen was paused. I hope you will be able to see my screen now. Yeah, so these are the time zones. Take a screenshot of it, and please make a note down based on your time zone. Okay. Any other question? We have one more question. Do we get the presentations? Yes, you will be getting this presentation, but you will be getting this presentation in the PDF format. All of these presentations, all of the materials you will be getting. So this presentation generally we cover into a PDF document and then we share through the Google Drive. Okay, so if you don't have any questions for now, we are moving next to share the server access, that what kind of server access we'll be having. Jesh, do you have any another question? If you have another question, I can unmute you, or you can unraise your hand. Okay, thanks. So let me move to the remote desktop for which we'll be providing you the access. So you'll be getting access to this remote desktop. So no need to install any of the thing on your computer. So we'll be providing you a link which you need to run to start the remote desktop. And then everything, all of the tools which we need to use will be there in the remote desktop. So from SAP side, we'll be having both. This is our S4HANA 1610. And this is ECC. So this is not only ECC, we have also put our SLT server on top of ECC. So this is ECC plus SLT, which is basically linked to our S4HANA. So you'll be having access to ECC, you'll be having access to 1610, S4HANA 1610. Then you will be having access to this SAP Lumira Advanced BI tool. We also have a predictive analysis. We just touch on that because that is a very vast topic, but you should know that what functionality it has. So we'll just doing a touch base on that. Then you will be having access to HANA Studio. This is our SAP HANA Studio. We'll be using this a lot to doing multiple things. You'll be having access to this. Then this is HANA Live. You'll be having access to HANA Live. This is our data migration cockpit. You'll be having access to this. This is our data services, BODS. We'll be providing access for this. This is basically simple logistic is nothing, but it is NWBC. You will be having access to this. And this is basically our Fiori. Fiori, HANA Studio, BI tools, NWBC, BODS, HANA Live, data migration cockpit, all of the things will be providing access on top of our these things. So let me go into show you a little bit about how it will be working. So let me go into 1610. So this is how SAP GUI looks like 1610 with the latest update of SAP GUI. So nothing has been changed, it's same. The GUI interface remains same. There's nothing much changes other than happening of some new T codes, some removal of T codes. It looks like same. So to check that if you are working in a project and if you're not sure whether you are on S4HANA, you are ECC, what database you are using, go here in More, go to System, go to Status. Here you can find that what database your system is using. So it's a HANA database. This is the schema has been used. So we'll be going in detail that how this schema we can see in HANA Studio. And if you want to know about the component installed, whether it's a 1610 or 1511, you can click here on component details. And here you will be having a S4 core. S4 core means S4 HANA has been put it on your system. So you are using, we have seen you are using a HANA database with S4. Now which version of S4? Go to install product versions. Here you can see it's a 1610 with initial pack. So you are using HANA database 6S4 with 1610. So that's how you can check. We'll be using a multiple T codes. Just to give an example to you, one of the T code is a new T code, which is solution builder, is /n/smb/bbi. So this is a solution builder. So initial phase, when we are initial exploration phase, this is very useful. So you can go into to check the what is the SAP best practices are there. So these all are the activated SAP best practices. Then you can go into, let's say if you want to check the sales order processing with customer, that what this process and how this process happens, what are the different processes are there, different steps are there which we need to do. Double click on there. System will take you to the web because the web based, it's on cloud. System will take you to this sales order processing, explaining what kind of the key processes are there, what kind of what is this process do, and here you have accelerators which helps you to in your project. So this accelerators has already built up process model, your test scripts, and this is a different version of process models. So you can click it here and you can download a test script already created by SAP. It will be in the Word document. Then you can click it here if you want to know about the process model. So system shows you that if you are working with sales order processing, with customer down payment, what all the steps you need to go through it. So this can be also connected with our solution manager, the newest version of solution manager, Solman 7.2, which is again web-based version. And this can be connected there. Our solution builder can be connected, and we can actually modify this process. If one additional process is required here, we can change it. We can put the additional process here. Okay, and then basically that is used to understand what is fit gap analysis. So based on the additional process, you map it here, then you can, from your solution manager, you can find it out. What are the different processes are there which will be having the changes? Then you can trigger your change management from there. Okay, so that's how it is integrated with Solman 7.2. We'll be again going through in our session with this G code. So that is just to give an example to you. Then let me show you HANA Studio. This is our HANA Studio. So HANA Studio will be having a multiple functions here. Let me first close already open objects. So one thing we'll be covering the data provisioning part. In data provisioning, we have access to SLT. So if we go here, we click on finish. We have a SLT here. So SLT is a migration tool. We'll be discussing how we can migrate by using SLT. Then we have a different structure in HANA Studio, basically catalog, content. We'll be discussing in detail what those are, but just to provide a brief overview. We have now a concept of different schemas. So this is our SAP ABAP 1 schema, which we have seen in our S4 system. So all of the tables related to our SAP tables sits here in SAP ABAP 1. And all of the things, the tables which we get it from SLT, it sits here in ECC data. So under the ECC data, when you go under any of the schema, you will be able to see all of the tables which are there in that schemas. And in tables also, you will be able to see that how to go a quick overview of tables, some kind of graphs, some kind of analysis actually you can do on top of the table actually. My remote desktop connection has been disconnected, but I have explained you briefly about what are the different things we'll be having. So now I'm putting this open for our question and answer session. So we'll be having further topics here, the use cases, just to give a glimpse to you that what would be covered in next sessions. We'll be covering what are the use cases are there, what is the history of SAP HANA. Okay, so how SAP has moved in SAP HANA. We'll be covering some quiz, and then we'll be covering that how the SAP did the product journey, what are the different kind of products available. So SAP HANA or BW on HANA, or sometimes we also call Business Suite on HANA, Simple Finance, Simple Logistics, Simple Finance as an add-on, Central Finance. So these all are the different terminologies, which is basically different products from SAP. So we'll be covering this in our next session, that how SAP have moved from their one product to another product, and what different features are available, in which conditions which product need to be selected. So these all will be covering in next session, and then we'll be go further in detail of our HANA database, how it has been built up, how the column and row structure works, how the indexes work. We'll be covering all this in our next upcoming session. Now I'm opening it for any kind of question or answer, any kind. If you have any question, you can ask now. Any kind of query related to this training sessions, what would be covered, or anything you are expecting, or any topic which you want to have some little bit of clarification right now, right away, you can ask. Feel free to ask question. Feel free to raise your hand. I will unmute you. Or feel free to put down your question on the chat window. So by the time you type down your questions, I'm checking if system is back, and it looks like system is back. So we were in this ECC data schema, and then here we can see the tables. So these all are the tables we have moved from our ECC system to our HANA database. So let's say if you want to check one of the basics tables, Mara, we right click here, we click on the data or open data preview. So open data preview, quickly open all of the records which we have. Then we have here the distinct value analysis. If you want to check how many number of line items we have for different material type. So you can click it here. System will quickly provide you the distincts, how many number of raw materials we have, how many semi-finished we have, how many FERT we have, and system also show you the graphical representations. Same thing we can do here in analysis. In analysis, if you want to see your material counts in each material type. So we have here the labels and we have here the values. So we can drag and drop here the material type, and we can drag and drop here the material number. So system automatically select the count function. So system is showing us the count of materials under the each material type. So this kind of the quick analysis, quick analytics, graphical representation you can do, although it cannot be used by end users. But if it is ad hoc kind of thing, you can download it or save it from here, the different kind of graphs, and then you can share with your users. You can also see in the table format, or you can see in the HTML format. So this is a very simple analysis I have shown you. You can also go with the different kind of analysis. You can change the graphs here. You can use the heat map or a tree map. You can also use a tag cloud. So we can use a different kind of graphs here. Let me go with the questions. Okay. Guillermo says that, okay, very clear information. We have one participant, Guillermo Ramos. Am I pronouncing your name correct? If not correct, you can make me correct. I don't want to pronounce it incorrectly. And we have one more question here. Will ECC SPRO configuration be still relevant after S/4HANA migration, or consultants will have to redo the existing configuration for HANA enabled systems? So very valid question. Questions from Ranganath. So basically what happened, it depends on the scenario to scenario. If we are doing as a greenfield implementation, which means we need to do the configuration again. Okay, so in greenfield also there are some companies are there which already having SAP systems, ECC systems, but rather than going with the migration or conversion, basically to go with they decided to go with the greenfield implementation. So in the kind of a greenfield implementations, yes, we need to do the implementation, we need to do the configuration. The tools available for configuration is basically, let me draw it here to show you. So if it's a greenfield implementation, you need to use SPRO. SPRO remains same, no change in SPRO other than some added configuration, but look and feel is same. If it is on cloud, you will not be having access to SPRO. It is guided configuration. Limited guided configuration, limited by SAP through our web-based tool, which is Fiori. So if it is cloud, you will not have SPRO. You have a guided configuration through web-based Fiori. Greenfield means we will be having SPRO. If you are doing a conversion, let's say you have a one system and the whole system we are converting it. So we are moving from this system ECC to S/4HANA. This is kind of a conversion scenario. In this scenario, no need to change your configuration. Your solution update manager, SUM, is the tool used. It do all of the data migration, your custom code migration, your normal code migration, your configuration migration. Everything has been done. Only thing, there are the different steps we need to follow to ensure that the simplification list, we need to pre-ensure that all of the things are there. And once system are migrated, we need to cross-check some of the things by using SPRO. Some little bit things are there. So this is the case, but no major configuration again. Then we have another landscape migration. In landscape migration, we are moving to one S/4HANA system, and we are having multiple systems. So this is the most common, one of the most common scenarios. We are moving. So this first part happens same as a conversion. Then this is known as a landscape transformations. So what happened once you have done the conversion, then what you need to do is for these systems, you need the migration. So all of the activities related to migration, you need to do it from here. So for this case, basically in the development system, you need to add, basically what we add org structure in our development system. So S4 will be having one dev, one quality. So in this case, this new migration dev system organization structure, we move it to dev, quality, and then production system. This configuration, when we do the conversion of the first system, it comes as it is. Then we add on top of the org structures, or any different configuration for that different landscape is required. We add it via SPRO. I hope it answers your questions, Ranga. Okay. Any other question from any participants? Please feel free to ask. So we'll be sharing with you the the recording of this session, and if you have any questions, you can just call me at this number. You can drop a WhatsApp message, or you can also send a message on this Gmail link. Feel free to send me a message there, or feel free to give me a call or send me a message. Before ending the session, I will just say that it's a very good time in this 2017. It will be just a starting of our migration projects, starting of the conversion projects. It's SAP S/4HANA now is just a start of the innovation process. SAP has a long roadmap to start with it, to go with it, to convert all of the system to the Fiori landscapes. So a lot of new things will be coming in future. So this is a very right time to pitch in from the starting, so that from the starting when the demand will be higher, you will be available for the market, and it will be very easy for you to adopt the new and upcoming changes and the new innovation. So very right time to go and prepare for this new topics, understand new topics, and then in future go with the certifications. We highly recommend you that after the training, once the certification is launched, you go for the certification, because it gives you added advantage in your profile. So that is very needful. And based on the cloud-based things we are going on, they are the companies who are providing restrictions, so that only participants, only consultants who will be able to, who are certified will be able to consult. So that kind of things can come in future. Right now it is not there. So that's why it's good to go with the certification also. We have one more question. Just to summarize, there will be mostly a combination of conversion and landscape projects. Yes, there will be mostly a combination of uh, conversion and the landscape migration. Only the small scale or medium scale businesses you can find where the conversions are there. And other than that, the conversion and migration, we have a lot of scenarios for sidecar implementations. So sidecar is basically without S/4HANA we are using, or we have also scenarios for central finance. So these are not the only one, yeah, but when we talk about the landscape migration, generally it is very close to conversion. First we need to do conversion. So it's a combination for all of the big companies. And a lot of the companies also using the sidecar. So that is because SAP HANA was launched 2007. So from 2007, when they launched, it was just a HANA platform. So a lot of companies, third-party companies, and even SAP also provided a sidecar solution by the time they come up with the business suite. So that's why it started in 2010 or 11, and now spending around 5 years on sidecar solutions. There are the robust sidecar solutions available in the market. So that is also one of the very famous and popular scenario for sidecar. We'll be discussing in detail. Any other question we have? I will pause for a few minutes before we stop this session. The next session will be happening next week. And then from next week, we'll be having 2 sessions every week. Once we convert into the 3 sessions in a week, we will let you inform. So the timings will be same. Next session will be on, if you are on the Western time zones, it will be Monday evening for you. If you are on the Asia Pacific time zones, it will be Tuesday morning for you. If you don't have any questions here, then I can conclude this call, and we can conclude this webinar, and we'll be sending the links so that you can join it again for the next sessions. You'll be getting a webinar links. So thank you everyone for joining this session, and I appreciate that you have provided time for this. Uh, before I close, I think I have one more question. Okay, no question. So thank you everyone. Have a good day and goodbye for now. We'll catch you in our next session. Bye bye.